Now we're going to talk to Caleb Calhoun of All for Tennessee here in just a bit. A couple of baseball notes. The Atlanta Braves, who still have a very comfortable lead in the National League East Division, don't get me wrong, lead is 7 games, having some bullpen troubles, and they also lost a member of their pitching staff that I think that a lot of people thought would be a big winner for him this year, but instead was a reason why the Braves made so many pitching acquisitions, be it Dallas Keuchel or Sean Green, who hasn't been pitching very well lately, or what have you down the stretch. And it is Kevin Gausman. They put him on waivers, and the Cincinnati Reds claimed him for and picked up his nearly annual $3 million a year salary. So the Redlegs, and the Redlegs are just a lot of pitching on Cincinnati. They have one of the best 5 earned run averages in all of baseball, but yet there they sit, 7.5 out of first behind the Chicago Cubs in a Central Division of the National League, and 6 out of a playoff. I guess it's not unheard of, and they'll pick up Bauer and all this, but just give you an idea. Foot injury has really hurt Gausman. He was 3-7 this year with a 6.19 ERA. Yeah, lousy. Then again, take a look at the Astros, picking up a pitcher with a 6 ERA and seeing him throw 6 no-hit innings. But anyway, Gausman, 28 years old, so you got to figure, hey, this was supposed to be his prime year. This is what Cincy is thinking, especially after Gausman, after being picked up for the Braves, was key in the pennant drive last year when he went 5-3 with a 2.87 ERA in 10 starts down the stretch. Now, take his place, Mike Foltynewicz. Foltynewicz won 13 games and was an all-star last year, of course, but like Gausman, he has struggled. And he was 2-5 this year with a 6.37 ERA in 11 starts. So, the Braves pitching, lineup is great. Pitching, maybe not so much. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Anyhow, just something to discuss here with the Atlanta Braves, and that's the big news around baseball, and at least in terms of the majors. Of course, the Appalachian League season continues on as such, and we will have a few more stories. And one story I'd like to discuss with people is the Philadelphia Phillies. Did you see this over the weekend? The Phillies may be suing their mascot. Or they are suing their mascot. Well, why would the Phillies sue the Phillies Phanatic? Has the Phanatic finally gone too far? Even former Phillies players will tell you. The Phanatic is the best mascot. Yeah. I know, I've talked to them. I personally would like to see the Phillies bring back Philadelphia Phil and Philadelphia Phyllis. Now, they're actually still in existence. They actually have them, and they are in someplace someplace in New Jersey, taking part of some sort of outdoors display. Philadelphia Phil, Philadelphia Phyllis. You ever remember the Phillies' old logo where they had a little boy and a little girl in colonial garb, and one of them was tossing a baseball to the other and all that? That was Philadelphia Phil and Philadelphia Phyllis, but I guess it was considered a little bit too calm for Philly, and so they brought out the horror that is known as the Phanatic in 1978. Now, in a complaint filed last week, Friday, in U.S. District Court in Manhattan, the Phillies alleged Harrison Eckerson threatened to terminate the Phillies' rights to the Phanatic next year and make the Phanatic a free agent unless the team renegotiated its '84 agreement to acquire the mascot's rights. Basically, the team said it contracted with Harrison Eckerson. They do things like Muppets and things like that. In 1978, at the behest of Bill Giles, who was then the executive vice president of the Phillies, and evidently he didn't like Philadelphia Phil and Phyllis. This is their revenge, I'm telling you, right now. Anyway, so they developed the mascot, and the Phillies said they reached an agreement to cover promotional items, paid Harrison Eckerson more than 6 figures in royalties, and then they basically figured that they bought out the agreement. The Phillies say they have reached an agreement with HE. This was 35 years ago to buy all rights to the artistic sculpture known as the Phillies Phanatic for $215,000. And I think in 1984, the minimum salary for a major leaguer was $40,000. So they must have thought that that was a lot of money. You know, that's 5 times what the minimum salary was for a ball player back then. So now that would be in comparison to the minimum salary for a major leaguer, I believe, is $555,000. So figure 2.4 million. Inflation hasn't gone up that much. Anyway, the team said Harrison Eckerson lawyers sent a letter to the Phils on June 1st last year claiming that they had the right to terminate the 84 agreement and saying absent a new deal, the Phillies wouldn't be able to use the Phanatic after June of 85. HE is suing, let's see here, the Phillies, let's see here, it says that basically the Phillies say they have bought his rights in the past, and I guess it is HE, which is called Harrison Eckerson, would like more money. I don't know exactly how that goes, but there you are. Mascot scandal. I gotta tell you, I'm telling you, bring back Philadelphia Phil and Philadelphia Phyllis. Forget about it. I'm telling you right now. You know, you often hear, it's actually officially the mascot, the famous chicken, okay? You're of the era, or they may call it the chicken. It's the mascot that Skip Carey, for a late great broadcaster of the Atlanta Braves, once met and deadpanned, once he met the famous chicken, why did you cross the road? So there is place for, you know, these mascots, unless you're Dandy with the New York Yankees or something. Yeah, but that goes back a ways too. Anyway, the point that I am trying to make, in addition to bringing back Philadelphia Phil and Philadelphia Phyllis, is that, yeah, I could actually see the Phanatic, believe it or not, as one of those free agent mascots. I mean, yeah, you know, like the chicken became. And I mean, if you're of an era, it was the San Diego chicken. And the chicken was seen at San Diego Sporting Event. The Padres to begin with, you know. I guess they now have a big old fryer mascot that goes around. I can see that, you know, that's okay. And all this. And then, but it eventually became, I think it was created by a radio station. And it just started going to the ball games. And when they weren't getting enough money there, it became, okay, we'll go to the minor league park. Okay, we'll rent this out to the NBA All-Star game. Okay, you'll see us on the Holy Roller. You'll see the chicken feigning as Dave Casper falls on the ball from that era. You know, so it could be that. It could be, you know, a Max Patkin. Something, the late, great Max Patkin, who also would come. We see that with the Phanatic. Now that, I wouldn't mind seeing, yes. You know, Tommy Lasorda got his ire. Imagine him going to Dodger Stadium and rooting for the Dodgers. Times change, folks. Times change. You can only imagine how this lawsuit will play out. But as I said before, I am rooting for a free agent Phanatic and the return of Philadelphia Phil and Philadelphia Phyllis.
Ultimate party, and one lucky winner is going to win $1 million.